Everyone says never give up. My friend Kevin never gave up, and it cost him 2 years and all his money. In this story, you will learn one simple question that tells you when to keep going and when to stop. I call this problem the already trap. Now, let me show you what it looked like. It was almost 2 in the morning. Kevin was sitting in front of his laptop. The room was dark, and the only light came from the screen. On that screen, there was one button. It said, "Close my store." His finger was right above it, but it did not move. He sat like that for a long time, 10 minutes, then 20, just his finger waiting above one button. He told me about this night later. He said the strangest part was this: pressing that button should have been easy. His store was not making money. It had not made real money in a long time. Every month it took more from him than it gave back. So I asked him, "Kevin, why couldn't you press it?" And what he said stayed with me for a long time. He said, "Because if I press it, then everything I already put in is gone. All that money, all that time, 2 years of my life, gone, for nothing." Do you hear that word, already? That one word is the whole trap, and it almost never lets go by itself. Let me take you back to how this started. About 2 years before that night, Kevin found something online. It was a way to sell things on the internet without keeping any products at home. You put products on your website. When someone buys one, another company sends it to them. People call this drop shipping. Kevin watched videos about it. He read stories about normal people making real money this way. They worked from home. They only needed a laptop and a phone. It looked simple. It looked like something he could really do. So he started. He built a small online store. He chose a few products. He made some ads. And then, in the first few weeks, orders came in. Not many, but they were real. Real people bought things from something he built himself. I remember when he told me. His eyes were bright. He said, "This could really work." And here is the thing I want you to notice. At that moment, he was right. It was working. That is what made everything after it so hard. After that good first month, Kevin wanted to grow faster. So he spent more money on ads. He paid for better product photos. He paid to make his website look nicer. Then something happened. The orders slowed down. They did not stop. They just came in slower. Kevin was not worried yet. He told himself, this is normal. Every business has slow weeks. So he put in more money, more ads, new products. Then he bought an online course about selling so he could learn faster. And every time he spent more, something inside him changed a little. At first, he kept going because he had hope, but slowly that turned into something heavier. A voice in his head started saying, "You have already spent so much, you cannot stop now." There it is again, that word, already. I remember one evening he told me his numbers, how much he spent on ads that month, how little came back. I asked him gently, "Kevin, is this still working?" He looked at me for a second. Then he said, "It has to work. I have already put in too much to stop now." I did not know what to say, so I said nothing. And now I think about that moment a lot. Months went by, and the pattern did not change. Some weeks, a small sale came in, and when that happened, Kevin felt excited again. He would say, "See, it is still working." But most weeks,
nothing came in, just the ad bill. Every month, that same bill was waiting for him. Then he started using money he had saved for other things. Money for a trip, money he was keeping for emergencies. After that, he started using a credit card. Only a little, he said, only to keep the store open a bit longer. I want to be honest about something here. At the time, nobody around him gave this a name. We did not have a word for it. We just watched our friend work harder and harder and get less and less. Later, Kevin told me the real reason he kept going, and it was not really about money anymore. He said he could not accept one thought, the thought that all his time, all his work, all those months had been for nothing. He could not let that thought win. So he kept feeding the store, and he kept hoping the store would feed him back.
I visited Kevin's apartment during that time, and it looked different. It was not dirty, it was just tired. Dishes stayed in the sink a little longer. The curtains were closed in the middle of the day because he was inside looking at his screen, checking numbers. He also stopped talking about the store. Before, he always brought it up first. He was excited, he had plans. But now, if I asked about it, he only said, "It is fine, I am still working on it." Then he changed the subject, fast. One night, he finally told me the truth. He said he was not sleeping well. He said he did the same math in his head every night. How much he had spent, how much he needed to earn to feel okay again. Then he said something I still remember. He said, "I do not even enjoy this business anymore. I just can't accept losing everything I already put in." We both sat there quietly for a moment, because we both understood something. The store was not the only thing he was holding too tightly. He was also holding on to the person he was 2 years ago, the one with bright eyes who told everyone this would work. Let me stop the story here for a moment and ask you something. Have you ever kept doing something not because it was working, but only because you had already given it so much? Maybe it was money. Maybe it was time. Maybe it was years of your life. I think most of us have done this, at least once. It is a very human thing to do. This is what I call the already trap, and it works in a very simple way. Once you have already spent something, your mind does not want to let it go, even when letting go is the smart choice. Your mind says, if I stop now, everything I spent was wasted. So instead of stopping, you spend even more. You are trying to save something that's already gone. And notice what the trap uses. It does not use facts. It does not use numbers. It only uses one word, already. But here's the truth, even if it is hard to hear. What you already spent is already spent. It does not come back. It does not come back if you stop today, and it does not come back if you continue for one more year. So the real question is very simple. Starting from today, is this still a good choice? Kevin's big mistake was not starting an online store. His big mistake was staying in it long after the numbers already gave him the answer. Here is something else I noticed, and I think it matters. The already trap does not only happen with money. It happens everywhere in our lives. I have seen people stay in a job they stopped liking years ago, only because they already gave that company 10 years. They say,
It is too late to change now. I have seen people stay in a relationship that hurt them, not because they were happy, but because they already gave it so many years. I have even seen this in small things. Finishing a bad movie because you already watched half of it. Waiting for a bus for 40 minutes because you already waited 30, even when walking would be faster. It's the same thinking every time. I already gave this so much, I cannot stop now. And here's what I believe after watching my friend go through this. Stopping is not the same as failing. We are taught again and again to never give up. And that advice is good sometimes. It is good when the thing is still working, or when it can still work and you only need more time. But that advice becomes dangerous when we use it to hide from the truth. Sometimes not giving up is not brave. Sometimes it's just fear. Fear of admitting we were wrong. Now, let me take you back to that night. Kevin, alone in the dark, with his finger above that one button. He called me that night. It was very late. He did not call to ask me what to do. I think he already knew. He called because he needed to say it out loud to another person before he could believe it himself. He said, "I think I already know the answer. I think I have known for months." I did not tell him what to do. I only listened. And something happens when you say a hard truth out loud to someone else. It becomes real in a way it never was when you only thought it alone. Then he went quiet for a while. I could hear him breathing. He said, "I keep thinking about all that money. 2 years and I have nothing to show for it." And I said, "You have this. You know something now that you did not know 2 years ago." He did not answer. We just stayed on the phone, quiet, for a minute or two. After we hung up, he sat back down in front of his laptop. His hand was still shaking a little, but this time his finger moved. He pressed it. The days after that were strange for Kevin. Nothing dramatic happened. It was just quiet. No more checking ad numbers every hour. No more waiting for orders that mostly did not come. And at first, that quiet did not feel good. It felt empty. He told me something that surprised me. He said that even though the store was taking money from him, it was also giving his days a shape. It gave him a reason to check his phone. It gave him a small hope to hold on to. And when he closed it, all of that went away at the same time. But slowly, that empty space started to fill with other things. He started a hobby again, one he had stopped years before. He started sleeping better. He said the strangest part was how quiet his mind became at night. He was not doing that same math in his head anymore. The money did not come back quickly. He's still paying back part of what he borrowed. But something else came back much faster than the money. His energy came back. His attention came back. And slowly, the old Kevin came back too. The one who talked about plans with bright eyes, not tired ones. About a year later, Kevin wanted to start something new. And this time, he did one small thing differently. It sounds simple, but I think it changed everything. Before he started, he decided when he would stop. He wrote it down. He chose a number, and he chose a date. He said, "If this does not reach that number by that date, I stop. No excuses. No one more month." He told me why he did this. He said, "I cannot trust myself later when I am already deep inside it. So I have to decide now while I can still think clearly." I think that is one of the smartest things I have ever heard him say. Because the hardest time to stop something is when you are already in the middle of it. That is exactly when your feelings are strongest and your thinking is weakest. The already trap only works on you after you have already put something in. So he made his decision before that, when it was still easy to be honest. And I want to be clear about one thing. His new project is not a huge success. It is small, it is slow, but it is honest and it is working a little, and he still enjoys it. Sometimes that's enough.
I will not tell you that Kevin fixed everything perfectly. That would not be honest. He still catches himself in small ways. He finishes shows he stopped enjoying because he already watched most of them. He stays in long conversations he wants to leave because he has already been there an hour. He laughed about it once, and he said, "I guess old habits do not disappear. I just notice them faster now." But one thing really is different in him. When that old feeling comes back, the one that says, "You have already put in too much to stop," he stops and he asks himself one simple question. If I were starting today and I knew everything I know now, would I still choose this? That question does not always give him an easy answer, but it always gives him an honest one. And honestly, I think he is still learning this. I think he will be learning it for a long time. Maybe we all will. So here is what I want to leave you with. It is not wrong to work hard for something. It is not wrong to hope that it will get better. That is a very natural thing to feel. But what you already gave, whether it is money or time or years of your life, cannot be brought back by giving even more. That part is finished. You cannot change it. But you can still choose what happens next. So the real question is never, how much have I already put into this? The real question is, starting right now, is this still worth it? And if the answer is no, then stopping is not giving up. Stopping is choosing something better with the time you have left. Kevin learned this the hard way, alone in a dark room at 2 in the morning, looking at a button he was afraid to press. Maybe you do not need a night like that to learn it. Maybe